The next part of this statement that was sent through is this: God didn't command the Israelites to tithe of their money anywhere in the law. It's just not there. It's always food, crops, animals, and never anything else. So we know that tithing is to give a tenth, to give 10% of the income that you make, of the earnings that you bring in. Our earnings these days are through money. Israel was primarily an agricultural society, and as I said earlier, whenever we read what the Bible is teaching into ancient times, we need to make a contextual bridge into our times. As when the Bible is teaching into Old Testament times, we need to make a biblical interpretive bridge into New Testament times. So, for example, the Bible speaks about people sleeping on top of their houses. In some places of the world, that would make a lot of sense. For us, it would not, because of the way that our houses are made and built. It is very hard for us to sleep on top of our house, and so commands given regarding sleeping on top of your house, we need to interpret them and make a contextual bridge about them into the world that we live in. We know that though the world changes, the word of God does not change. And so its teaching, its principles do not change, but we do obviously need to make a contextual interpretive bridge. And that's what needs to happen here. Being a primarily agricultural society, the majority of Israel's people would have made their earnings through, indeed, food, crops, and animals. That was the income that they received through the work which they participated in. For us, it is not any longer, the majority of us anyway, it's not any longer food, crops, and animals, but our income, our earnings is through money. And so we need to make that bridge. We recognize that the teaching is to give God our first, is to honor him with our finances, to honor him with our income. If your income is food, crops, and animals, then you need to honor him in that, and you need to work out if you are to tithe him in that. Of course, I would ask, as your pastor, if you're part of our church, I would ask that you do your best to convert your food, crops, and animals to money. That would just make our lives a lot easier. If you can't do that, I'm happy to speak about that. If you want to work that out and how, then I'm of course happy to speak about that as well. But yeah, this one, we tithe with our earnings, we tithe with our income, whatever that may be. And for us, primarily that is money. I hope that's helpful.